Hey guys, Ted Bogert here. Welcome back to Bless Your Business. We're actually live this time, which I truly love. I'm with my co-host, the most amazing Angie Lee Aki. Angie Aki is here with Ohana Investment Partners. We do this Bless Your Business show every week because we really do want to give you resources and tools so that you can bless your business and be a blessing to others. And this week we have a very special guest. Our business credit guru, goddess, amazing human being, Christi Squartino is here. She's going to share some insights on an industry that a lot of us don't know anything about, but we should. So welcome, ladies. Well, I think you're here. Are you there? Yes, this is the great thing for live. All right, well, welcome.
Hello.
Hello. All right, Angie, we'll start with you. Give us a little background on you for those people who are tuning in for the first time.
Okay, if you're tuning in for the first time, I'm Angie Aki. I am the owner and founder of Ohana Investment Partners. And under Ohana Investment Partners, I have 3 verticals. I help people passively invest in real estate. So you can invest in real estate without taking on another full-time job. It is truly passive. The second vertical is the employee retention payroll tax credit. So I help businesses access this funding. I've helped businesses with over $3.5 million of this funding thus far, and I'm helping more and more businesses every week. And the third vertical is Moxie and Money. So that's my women's empowerment vertical. I'm helping women in business and female entrepreneurs by creating a space where we can all come together, lean on each other, grow together, and thrive together.
Nice. She's got that down to she's got it good. All right, Angie, why don't you introduce our special guest?
I would love to. This is Christi Squartino. We actually connected at a chamber event and just completely hit it off. She's an amazing woman in the Central Florida area, and she helps businesses build their business credit. So really, by creating a true separation between personal and business credit, you can stop doing personal guarantees on the personal credit. And there are so many benefits. You can potentially get better rates and terms without a personal guarantee. So that's something that we just don't really talk a lot about and we don't hear a lot about. So the moment I connected with Christi, I thought, okay, I need you to get this information to all the people I know, myself included, because this is not something that I have really learned a lot about, and it's not something that you see a lot of. So Ted and I wanted to bring Christi on the show today, Bless Your Business, to bless your business through tapping into and utilizing business credit, understanding what that is, how to do that, and the benefits to you. So that being said, I'm going to hand it over to you, Christi. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this.
Well, thank you, guys. Angie, you had that down pat. Thank you. She did her homework, man.
Nobody needs me. We're good.
I love it. So my name's Christi Squartino. As Angie said, I live in the Central Florida area. I actually went to the University of Central Florida. Growing up and, diving into the business world, I worked for several privately owned businesses, and I got to really see what it's like to be a business owner. And I fell in love with it. So I ended up changing my major at UCF and went to school for business management with a focus on entrepreneurship. And I kind of got away from it. I got into luxury sales, which was something totally off the beaten path in terms of my degree. But I did that for a very long time, and I did a lot of traveling. And it was time to get back to my roots and get back to that entrepreneurial spirit and mindset that I truly love and is part of my DNA. And that's when I started with Jay Galt. And it's been a wild ride, and I've loved every minute of it.
So let's talk about, let's dive, because I think there is so much misinformation out there. There's a lot of people who claim to do what you do, and then they really don't know how to do it. So let's talk about it. What is business credit? Give us the basics, and then, because there's a lot of businesses out there that I believe could qualify, and they just don't know how. They have no idea what the process is. Maybe they worked with a quote unquote, not so good business lending type of person before, business credit builder. And so they have cold feet. So give us the basics.
Yes. Well, a lot of this stuff, you're so right, Ted, is not available to Main Street, right? This is a lot of common knowledge to Wall Street businesses. And it's our mission to make sure that the business owners of today know what's available to them, and so that they don't make a lot of the common mistakes, like personally guaranteeing lines of credit for their business. And one big misconception is that business credit is similar to personal credit, and it's very, very different. On the personal side, they look at your hard inquiries, right? How often are you trying to seek funding? They look at your debt to asset ratio. So how often so how much of what's available to you are you actually spending? And every time you seek out funding, they drop your credit score. Every time you spend more than 30% of what's available to you, they drop your credit score. And that's a way of warding off additional lenders from giving you more money because, Christy's using too much of what she already has, so let's not give her more. And Christy keeps trying to find more money, so let's not give her more. And it's really not, it's not right? It's how are you, if you focus on using your personal credit to build your business, there's so many stipulations that it keeps you from being able to grow your business. So with business credit, they only look at one thing, and it's, are you paying your bills? And most importantly, are you paying them on time? And here's a really great trick: pay them early, right? That's a really great little extra when building business credit, is to show that not only can you pay them on time, but you can in fact pay your bills early. They don't care how much of what's available to you are you actually using. In fact, most lenders will say, oh my goodness, Christy has $100,000 available to her and she's used all 100,000 of it. Well, we better give her more because she's using that money to make more money, right? She's investing it into her business. So that's one really important difference between personal credit and business credit, is that availability to access funding and access it when you need it. And as Angie said, accessing it at the best terms and rates. And business loans are typically much better terms and rates that you're going to get personally, even if you have an equivalent business and personal credit score, which I'll get into. And you're going to get sometimes 10 times higher limits on the business side than you would personally. So that's really a fundamental difference between business credit and personal credit, is that ability to access funding whenever and for whatever capacity you need it, without that stipulation of, oh, I've used too much of what I actually have available to me. So that's why it's important to build business credit so you can grow and scale. And real estate investments and equipment and vehicle financing are all great options when you have business lending and business funding available to you.
So before everybody starts calling you, let's give them a little bit of qualifications. So business credit obviously would be in the business name, but what kind of qualifications can a new business call you? Is there some sort of seasoning required for the business? Give us a little bit of detail about that before your phone starts ringing off the hook.
Yes. So what we do is good for every business. Any business owner can really benefit from the utilization of using business credit, right? But not every business is necessarily the best candidate, because when building business credit, you have to spend money to get money, right? That's kind of the most important part. And it's good to understand that there's a process involved. So we do truly vet our clients, right? We go through a full discovery process to make sure that client can benefit from what we offer. And it's important so that we are not putting businesses in a kind of financial risk, at trying to build business credit. But what we really do is specialize the credit building process for the business owner so that the business owner isn't spending more than what they traditionally would spend just to gain business credit. And what's tricky about building business credit is that, and why so many have such a hard time building it, to kind of answer your question, long rounded, why business owners have a hard time building business credit is because only 7% of lenders actually report to the credit bureaus, right? So there's 3 main credit bureaus that you always want to focus building your business credit on, which is Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Business, and Equifax Business. And since again, 7 out of 100 lenders are actually reporting the good that you do to those credit bureaus, they'll report every time you're late or you miss a payment. Don't matter which lender it is, they'll report when you do something wrong. But only 7% will actually report the good you're doing. And I like to refer that as like a hamster and a hamster wheel, right? Just running and running and running and getting nowhere. And that's essentially what business owners have problems with when building business credit, is that they seek lenders, they make purchases, they make payments, they go look at their business credit report, and that lender's not showing up, which ends up being this vicious cycle of trial and error to figure out which lenders actually report. And a lot of business owners don't realize that those lenders aren't reporting, most importantly, because that lender doesn't have to tell you that they're not reporting. So for us, the clients that are really great with our program are business owners that are sick of personally guaranteeing lines of credit. How often business owners come to me and say, I'm trying to buy a house, or I want to start investing in real estate, and want to buy a vehicle, and was approved for 25% interest on the vehicle because there's so much business debt tied to them personally that they can't get out of it, because you can't get out of that loan until you've actually paid it off, right? So what we want to do is make sure that business owners don't fall subject to that. And most business owners don't even realize that they have subject themselves to that. And that's really the problem. And that's what I really want to voice, is that when you go seek out funding and the lender, you give them your EIN number, right? Most importantly, to build business credit, you build it around your EIN. And why we open a limited liability corporation, or an LLC, is so that you can keep separate you as the business owner from your business, right? That's why you create an LLC. But the second you go to that lender and you give them your EIN number and they follow back up with, can I get your social? And you provide them your social, you completely negate the whole reason of having an LLC, because you are saying that if my business does not pay this debt, I personally guarantee it with everything that I own. And yeah.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, let's dive into this a little bit. Yeah. So as far as when people think business credit, I think typically 2 things come to mind, right? Number 1, credit cards. Mm-hmm. Number 2, all the texts, calls, emails, everything we get about, I have your business funding. You can get $500,000, da, da, da. So let's talk about what you do and how that may be similar or different to those texts and calls. And also, a lot of us, myself included, I use a credit card for my business. And then I just pay it off every month. So that's what I do. So how would that maybe be different than that? And then also how is this different than all the spam texts we're getting? Just to clarify that.
So going to the lender and them asking you for your social security number, it kind of ropes you into that payment, right? And a lot of business owners say, I have a business credit card. Do me a favor, pull out that card and look to see if your name is on it. Because if your name is on that card, you've personally guaranteed that debt. But it's my business. I told them I want it on my EIN. Well, you gave them your social security number, which means they wrapped you into that debt. So you need to make sure that your credit cards are not saying anything aside from your business name. Same thing with any loans or lines of credit. It should be strictly on the business, and your name should not be anywhere on it. That's how it tells you that you have actually essentially co-signed for that debt. So that's why we have to make sure that business owners know that there's an option. So that doesn't require that personal guarantee. And that's by building your business credit. So we have a very clear, proven 7-step process that allows the business owner to build credit solely on the EIN of their business, so that in a year or less, they know that they'll be able to go to any lender to seek funding, be approved for the best terms and rates, and have much higher limits than they're probably typically accustomed to getting when they go seek out funding.
Can a new business? Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I know you said there's a 7-step process. So what is, for people hearing this, what is the first step? What should they do first?
Cross your T's and dot your I's, right, on the business. So what seems so silly as part of building your business credit is such an important part of the fundability of your business, right? The legitimacy. And there's some basic things that you can do right off the bat that will help you build the legitimacy of your business. Then you can start getting into the funding process. And some of those things include registering your business phone number with 411. That's after my time. I don't know if I've ever used 411. I talk to people all the time that didn't know it's even still around. Some business owners don't even really know what it is. But 411 is still a thing. So your business needs to have a registered landline. And even if it's not a physical landline, there are virtual landlines that you can actually register for, and will route those calls to your cell phone. But it actually shows as a landline that can be registered with 411. That shows part of the legitimacy of your business. Having a domain email address, right? Christi at Yahoo is not a great email address for my business, because lenders look at that as, how serious is Christi about her business that she doesn't even have a domain email address for her business? Making sure that your address, that you have a physical address, which is another thing that you can get virtually. If you're operating out of your home, you can actually pay to get a virtual business address. And that needs to be the same address that you register with the Secretary of State, with the IRS, and also with all 3 of the main credit bureaus. They look for businesses that have websites. Those are all really important parts of the, again, legitimacy and the overall fundability of the business. So if you don't have a website or a domain email address or a physical phone number and address, those are things that you need to get on for your business.
That's good. I forgot about 411.
Right.
Literally forgot. When you said that, I'm like, oh my God, you probably are too young to remember 411.
I have used it, so that means I'm not. That means I'm right in the middle.
I used to use it so much. It's crazy. Yeah, that's interesting, because I think a lot of business owners get caught up in, okay, well, I've been in business, or I'm getting in business. What if I get all those things, Christi? Is there I know we're gonna get asked this question a lot. Is there a minimum amount of time in business that you have to have in order for them to come to you?
No, we can help a business that hasn't even formed yet. We can help them through the EIN process and making sure that all those T's are crossed and all of those I's are dotted from the beginning, instead of, starting it and then not realizing that you shouldn't use your home address. And then you have to pay to change all of those forms that you've already created. So we can absolutely help a business owner from the beginning. and maybe we can get into it later, but for me, what's really important about building business credit is not only getting the business owner to an 80 plus credit score, because business credit runs from 0 to 100, where your personal credit runs from 350 to 850. And if you can get your business credit score to an 80 or higher, it's equivalent to a 720 on the personal side. And if you can make that happen, like I said, when you go seek funding, you're going to get approved, and those lenders are not going to require personal guarantee, because that 80 plus score shows the lenders that you are a fundable business that should be approved for lines of credit. And you want to make sure that recommended line of credit is going to be high enough to actually make a difference in your business. And that kind of goes back to the statement I said earlier, which is you have to spend money to make money. So we do have a proven track record that allows you to build that business credit on your current expenses without having to spend any more.
Christi, we had a question. I think you answered it, but hey, Rosangela Parker, how are you? For 411, is a landline required, or will a mobile number do? Go ahead and answer that. Good question.
It is a landline required.
And you can do the landline virtual.
You can. There are several different sites and programs out there that will allow you. It is a paid subscription, but you can pay for a virtual landline, and that landline can be routed to your cell phone. And that is the only type of phone number that can be registered with 411, it being registered as a landline.
So interesting.
Yeah.
I knew about Dun & Bradstreet.
Yes.
But I think a lot of people really mix, even as an LLC, especially if you're a smaller company or mixing your business. You might be paying a business debt, but you're still guaranteeing it as an individual. And I don't think people understand the complete separation, or that it even really existed. Dun & Bradstreet sounds like this big thing for big corporations. And in reality, it's for every business, like you were talking about. And I didn't know about the credit part either. 80. If you told me an 80 score, I'd be like, wow, we need to get you some help. But that's on the personal side.
Exactly.
What else, Angie? What other questions do you have? I mean, I'm fascinated by this topic, because there are so many businesses I think that could qualify, and they just don't know about it or don't know how to go through the process.
I think it's just, learning about it and going through the process and figuring out, the right way to do things. And a lot of us, especially as entrepreneurs, we get into this. We don't go to school for entrepreneurship. We get into entrepreneurship, and then all of a sudden we're the CEO, the CFO, the COO, the CMO, the every C, everything. And we're also the janitor and the salesperson. We're everything, right?
So true.
Yeah.
So to be able to find people, and that's part of what Ted and I are doing with Bless Your Business, is we're bringing in people that have expertise in certain areas, because we can't know it all. You can't know it all. I don't know it all. None of us do.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to talk about different things. And I had no idea. My credit card that says my business name and my personal name too. So now I'm like, well, there's that. So
that's right. And I feel like, but I don't want people to get discouraged, because when I was listening to you, I'm like, gosh, how do you overcome that? Well, you work with somebody. You work with Christi. You take a look at what your situation is. You get with a professional who understands the process. And she said they like to work with you. It could take up to a year, or within the year, or somewhere. But you just have to be in it for the long haul. At least you're moving in the right direction, right, as a business owner, instead of still guaranteeing everything under your personal name and your account.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Which is powerful, Christi. Right. I've learned a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I want her to come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. So we will have Christi back. I think I think what you offer is amazing. And y'all, I'm so glad Angie brought this up. We're all getting those text messages, the Instagram messages. I mean, if you click on one once, you're forever beholden to get those. I must hit stop 10 times a day on my text messages.
Mhm.
So you want to get with a professional. Look, we have Christi. I'm also a Knight, go Knights. And so we have a local Knight, a local person who understands how to get you from point A to point B. And it's completely different than you think it is. So get with a professional. All right, Christi, what's the best way that they can find you and reach out to you?
Yeah, so down there on the bottom, you'll see my website, jgalt.io/C Squartino. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom of my website, you'll find my calendar. You can go on there, put some time on my calendar. One thing that I can really, really help with is diving into your current business and where you're at now. So if you can, provide me with your business name and address as it's registered with the IRS or the Secretary of State, and I can run a complimentary business credit report for you, and we can go over your business together.
Love that. I love that.
That is
Thank
awesome.
you. Angie, all right, how can they reach you?
You can reach me, ohanainvestmentpartners.com or Angie at ohanainvestmentpartners.com. I do have a domain name email. So that means
I know, I'm
real,
thinking in my brain, all the things she said.
There we go.
I meet that one, but I don't do that one. That's not good.
Yeah, right. So that's the best way to reach me. And as a reminder, if you are watching this and you are in Central Florida and you are a female, a woman in business or a female entrepreneur, I would love to see you at the Moxie and Money event I am hosting September 29th. It's during the day at the Citrus Club. It is going to be an amazing event. So I hope to see you all there.
Absolutely. And we are,
I'll
you
see
can
you
find
there.
me on Linktree, which is scrolling across the bottom there. It's got all my events, all of the episodes of the podcast. Anything you could ever want to know about Ted is pretty much on that Linktree. We have an event coming up on the 25th. It's for the real estate community, men and women. Are obviously welcome, a little bit different, but you can go to my Linktree and find out more about that. If you are a business owner or an entrepreneur, either one, and you want to come on the show and talk about what you do and how you bless other businesses, we want to help everybody out in our community, and that's what this show is all about. Thank you, Christi. Thank you, Angie. We'll be back next week. This was amazing. We'll see you guys soon. Reach out to Christi. I'm telling you, if you're a business owner, I want you to reach out to Christi and get the ball rolling. She won't judge you or roll her eyes at how far behind the 8 ball you are on this stuff, because I'm one of those people too. So
Same.
thank you guys so much. We'll see
Bye,
you soon.
everyone.
Bye,
Have a great
everybody.
day.
Thank you, guys.